Well, hello everybody. This next presentation is going to talk about portable electronic devices in the cockpit. And by portable electronic devices, I mean smartphones, tablets, etc., etc. So the upcoming slides are going to be more of an awareness for you guys as to where to place them in the cockpit. So my presentation is divided into three parts. First part, evolution. By evolution, I mean the evolution of our lifestyle. Of how time has changed the way we live up to today. Second part, lithium battery, a recap of how they work and how we could arrive at a thermal runaway. And the last part, where to store them. So evolution. This is a pretty cool picture I found of people going to work, reading the newspaper, a few years ago, not that long ago, but it's striking to see that today we're doing exactly the same thing on a different support, going to work. Well, today, if it was really 2020 today, it would probably look like this. But still, there is the portable electronic devices with us, and we're reading as we're going to work. So that's the evolution that we have faced throughout the time. For those of you who've been loyally flying our Airbus aircraft, you may recognize here, sitting, our former head of flight ops and training support, Mr. Christian Monteil, holding the A340 FCOM, and next to him, our former head of flight test, Captain Pierre Beau. This is an interesting picture because it's the entry into service of the A340. It's 27 years ago, 1993. We got a big binder. We got the former Airbus colors on the Airbus aircraft model on the table. So I found this quite interesting. But I don't have to go that far back, basically. Here's a picture taken in a theme park in Shenzhen, China, okay, in 2010. And that same angle in 2017. So you see how quickly we've evolved, and you get my point. We all have portable electronic devices with us. 1, 2, maybe 3 even. And so it's normal that we've brought this evolution in the cockpit. Here's the last picture. On board one of our aircraft, we've got the paper charts and our new tool, Mission Plus, on the left-hand side. So portable electronic devices are part of our lifestyle now. And they're coming on board Airbus aircraft that were initially designed to host paper. So it's important to note that we have to cope with this evolution today in our cockpit. But before saying where to store them, let's go and have a little bit of a recap about how the lithium battery works and how it can lead to a thermal runaway, or what leads to a thermal runaway rather. Okay, so this is a typical lithium battery. All right, we'll open it up, and basically it means that the electron from this battery is coming from the element lithium. Lithium is the lightest element on Earth. It can float on water, and it has a great electrochemical potential. So let's go and see the battery a little bit closely. Now it's split in half again. On the right-hand side, you have the negative side, what we call the anode, okay? And this is composed of lithium and carbon graphite, just like what you have in your pencil. On the other side, there's the cathode, the positive side. And this is composed of cobalt and oxygen, okay? So the lithium actually wants to give an electron towards the cathode because the cobalt wants to gain an electron. So when the lithium loses an electron to go towards the cathode side, it becomes positively charged. And when an element loses or gains an electron, we call it an ion. Okay, so this is why it's called a lithium-ion battery. All right, so let's go through the process together. Here the electrons are flowing from one side to the other, and your phone is actually functioning. All right, but as the electrons go towards the cathode side, little by little, we're facing a small issue here. You see, the electrons flow more and more on the cathode side, and therefore the cathode side becomes more and more negatively charged. And on the opposite, it becomes more and more positively charged. So the electrons don't really like to go towards a negatively charged area. Okay, this is simple. It's because opposite charges attract and similar charges repel, right? So to fix this, we introduce what we called an electrolyte. It comes right in between the cathode and the anode. And this electrolyte provides a path for the lithium ion, positively charged, to move across towards the cathode side, while preventing the electrons from moving towards the electrolytes. Okay? So it's important to note that the cathode and the anode cannot touch. Okay? So if they were to touch, then there could be a chemical reaction that accelerates uncontrollably, leading to fire or even maybe explosion. Okay? This is the thermal runaway. So to prevent this from happening, we introduce a semi-permeable separator. It's a non-conductive separator, which allows the lithium to go through, but is a barrier between the anode and the cathode, okay? Because the electrolyte that we introduced earlier is a liquid, so it's not a good barrier between the anode and the cathode. So this is the key here to thermal runaway. If this barrier is broken, then you may lead to a thermal runaway. How does it get broken? It could be poor manufacturing. It could be the fact that you dropped your phone, or that it has a hit, and that you basically damage a damage that is strong enough that the separator has been damaged. Okay, so you might remember this video from Los Angeles airport in 2007. So this is a bit of a beginning of the lithium and the lithium batteries here, but it went viral back then. I apologize for the poor quality. We'll look at it together. And before I launch it, I just want to highlight one thing. Here, the computer is plugged in, but your portable electronic devices do not need to necessarily to be plugged in for a thermal runaway to occur. All right. So here's a thermal runaway that was filmed back in 2007.
Holy shit.
Acabo de explotar el ordenador de alguien con muchísimo fuego. Justo al lado de...
Pretty impressive, right? Well, it's not necessarily a new threat anymore, but it is one that is more exposed because we have more and more devices on board. Back a few years ago, the regulators have provided guidelines and recommendations to operators. Also us, if you remember, Airbus was the first aircraft manufacturer in the world to provide you with a procedure to treat lithium battery fire, a procedure that was for both the flight crew side and the cabin crew side. So, taking into account the potential consequences of a thermal runaway, we decided to provide you with the areas where to store them within the cockpit. This is an image of a cockpit storage area, and I purposely chose one from an aircraft that was initially designed to host paper and now is hosting more and more portable electronic devices. I will not show images of every cockpit storage areas of all the Airbus aircraft models. Therefore, I decided to take the most common one flying today, and what we see here is the A320 first officer's side with the airplane's front facing towards the left. So in order to represent all the Airbus aircraft models, we will just split the storage boxes into two, with the left one called the main document box and the right one called the aft lateral document box.
These are two dedicated storage areas which you have on your airplane. So let's go through our different models and for each storage boxes. On an A3 100, 600, A310, A300B, they are still flying, and you can store your portable electronic devices in the main document box and in the aft lateral document box. On an A320, you cannot store your portable electronic devices in your main document box unless you're flying an airplane from MSN 9197 onwards, or if you have installed the following SBs for CEO and NEO. These SBs install a 3mm aluminum layer box within your storage area. It is acceptable to store your portable electronic device in the aft document box on the A320. Regarding the A330, you can store your portable electronic device in the main document box and in the aft lateral document box. On an A380, you cannot store your electronic device in the main document box. An SB is under development to cope with this situation. And it is acceptable to store your portable electronic device in the aft lateral document box. And on the A350, there is only one storage area. You can store your portable electronic device in this storage area only if you're flying MSN 440 and onwards, or if you've installed the following SB. So please note that all the SBs that are displays are free of charge, and we recommend you to install them for your fleet. You will find what I just talked about in your flight operation documentation. In your FCOM and in your QRH, we've updated the aircraft configuration summary table to reflect whether or not your aircraft is equipped with such aluminum box. We also updated the FCTM Clean Cockpit chapter in order to remind you of the location where to store your portable electronic device. This is the end of my presentation. I hope you found it clear, and I thank you for your attention.